Fit for Life Radio, episode number 182. I think we got last week's wrong.
You sure about that? Did we?
Yeah. I think
what did you say last week's was?
I think I said 179 when it was 180.
How dare you?
Someone got thrown off.
Yeah. Wasn't me.
To let us know. Give us an email.
Holler at us.
This week, we're talking about a common reason people don't start exercising.
Yeah.
And one of the most common ones is, I got to get in shape before I start.
Which, you know, if it on its face can seem reasonable to people, you know, just like, oh, I guess that makes sense. You want to feel fit. But what does it even mean?
Yeah.
Right?
And the real reality is it more than likely circles back around to feeling insecure.
Yeah.
And it's about going, you know, or even more specifically, it's like going to a gym, you notice? So people were like, oh, I got to get in shape before I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, I've had people say that like about our gym or other like group training gyms near us.
Yeah. So they're worried about, it's a misplaced worry. We're here to tell you it's wrong, because I think most people end up with that thought and then that issue holding them back, because the only reason you would worry about it is because you'd worry about other people's perception of you, right? So you're there thinking like, oh, people are going to watch me or judge me.
Yeah, they're going to think that I'm out of shape and I'm whatever and I'm not good at this. And like the reality is most people have been exactly where you're at.
Yeah. And then the second thing is, the gym is where you go to get in shape, right? So it's like flawed logic anyways. And also, no one there cares.
No.
Like, they're not paying attention. If anything, if they do care, it's in that you're motivating them or they want to help.
Yeah.
No one's like, oh, look at this out-of-shape person at the gym.
Like, they don't belong here.
Because everyone's there doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Working, you know, on something for themselves. So, you know, it's funny. And for me, like, the gym environments are one of the most positive and encouraging places you can go to anywhere in everyday life.
Agree. Now, it can be intimidating for people, which is, you know, what we're even talking about here, because that's real common in that, like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. You know, I don't want to look stupid. Like, those are again, going along with what we're saying, those are the common reasons why people don't go.
Yeah.
And because, like, oh, these people are more fit than I am. And the reality is, like, most gyms, even, like, you can walk into One Life, most people in there are super helpful. Yeah. And they're super nice. And, like, no one really cares what you're doing, but no one's going to laugh at you.
Yeah. And then it's like, you know, what is in shape? Is it like, does that mean, like, your body composition, how much, you know, fat you have or don't, or muscle you have or don't, or does it mean like you need to be able to do 5 pull-ups and run a mile in 7 minutes? You know, if that were the case, if you needed to have some kind of fitness standards to go to the gym, well, then they would have a test when you start, right? Yeah. Or to be able to even go there. And so, yeah, ultimately ends up becoming a story we tell ourselves that then holds us back.
And here's the deal. If you're somebody who said that, like, well, what's your plan? What are you going to do to get in shape before you go to the gym? Yeah. You know, and chances are, if you're looking at maybe going to like a gym like ours, it's group training. There's a higher level of accountability. There's coaching, like a lot of things that help people that aren't just going to go to the gym by themselves. Yeah. And chances are, if you're seeking that out, you're not going to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Like you're looking for an environment to help you and thinking, oh, well, I gotta do all these things to get fit, and then I'll be able to go there and I won't look dumb. And I just don't think that's the right mindset to have.
Yeah, and then you're missing out on massive benefits of a gym because, and we've talked about this before, you know, if you're like, well, I'm going to try to get fit at home before I go to the gym, the problem with that is a lot of people then don't have access to equipment, so then they have to do a lot of body weight stuff. But, hey, even doing 10 proper push-ups can be really hard because it's a big percentage of your body weight you're pushing, and that may be actually a bad place to start for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then you can't do chin-ups or rows, and yet, so yeah, therefore, like, you end up, it's not ideal.
It's not serving you at all.
Whereas you can go to a gym and have access to tons of equipment that then to where you can have more progressive.
Yeah, you could do, instead of a push-up, like a chest press machine or a dumbbell press, to where it's way more scalable, and you could start at 10 pounds.
And have higher odds and safer odds of getting in shape, right? You know, so you're just holding yourself back kind of with that thinking. And then the other thing is, depending on your gym, you know, you have access to coaches and trainers and stuff to help you more than, again, trying to do it on your own.
Yes.
And then there's like environmental factors, right? Like at the end of the day, if you want to, you have higher odds of being successful if you exercise at a place that there's only thing to do there is exercise.
Yeah. Right? Whereas if you're at home, what's there to do? Netflix, cleaning, cooking, eating,
sitting, lounging,
sitting, napping, petting your dog. Like, there's a million chores, million things you could be doing that are not working out. But if you go to the gym, that's all there is to do there.
Yeah.
Just, you got to do something. And you're just way more likely to be in the mindset to, like, okay, I'm doing this one thing.
Yeah. It's like if you have a pool at your house, but then you end up, like, same thing. Get distracted, do all this stuff. I know a lot of people, they get a pool at their house, they never use it.
Yeah.
If you go to the pool,
you're going to use it.
You're going to use the pool.
Yeah.
Because, like, once you get there,
there's nothing else.
The neighborhood pool. Well, I'm at the pool. I might as well do pool things.
Yeah. And if you think about, like, I mean, even people that have great home gyms, the number of people that I talk to on a weekly basis, they're like, I don't work out at home, but I have, like, a real dope home gym setup. I have everything. I have dumbbells. I've got a squat rack. I've got a bike, all this stuff. And they still don't use it because there's other things to do that aren't working out.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's the old joke about treadmills, and they just turn into laundry collectors at home, which is true. Like, if you have a treadmill or a, what are those bikes called? Pelotons? They turn into just stuff collectors after a certain amount of time for most people.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen people selling them left and right on Facebook. So that's a common thing, right? I have to get in shape before going
to the gym. And it's a you know, a factor of being comfortable. And I know for most people, again, like, I talked to all the people that started our gym, and most people are intimidated by a gym. You know, and that's why they seek us out. It's a little more of a controlled environment, but it is uncomfortable for people. So there is that little bit of resistance you kind of got to break through, because it's a new thing, and you have to be okay with being a little bit uncomfortable to start something new and put yourself out there.
And with that, the best way is just to lean into and treat it like a fact that a new environment is going to come with discomfort. Like, there's no way around it. That's always actually a good thing. You know, if you want to, you know, that's with any new environment. You know?
Yeah.
If you're going to, I don't know, join a pottery class, you know, and you've never done pottery.
Yeah, you're not going to be good.
You walk in there's going to be 7 people. They got, like, Michelangelo sculpted. There's all these machines.
And these people know exactly what they're doing. Like, they know all the steps. And you're like, man, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah. They got, like, their pottery plaid shirts with stains on it, their gear.
Yeah. Like,
you know,
you've been around the block.
Exactly. And you're like, oh, you're just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You're anxious.
You're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to make something like that. When in reality, it just took them years to get to that point. Same thing with the gym. You could walk into a One Life or a Gold's Gym or whatever gym you have and see some super jacked person, and you're like, oh, I could never do that. Well, they've been lifting for 22 years. Like, it just takes a lot of time to get to that level. And, you know, at one point they might have been uncomfortable walking into the gym, whether they were maybe 13 years old, they started early, or they started in their 20s. Like, everybody kind of goes through that at some point.
Yeah. That's how I feel when I walk in Lowe's.
Right? See? It's like it's not your area of expertise. Like, not a handy dude, and that's okay. But yeah, like, you kind of don't know where to start.
Yeah. And you're like, what do I wear before I go?
Yeah. Like, am I gonna look dumb to all the other dads here?
Put on some blue jeans.
Yeah.
Now I'll put on, like, a t-shirt with a hole right around the neck, you know?
So people think you do a little work.
Baseball cap. But then the problem is you look like you know what you're doing.
And then people start asking you questions. So then you're like, oh, man, you got to ride that line.
But it's funny because when I was doing strategy sessions, and you do most of them now, but that was a common thing. Once people like sign up, they're like, what should I wear?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's comfortable.
I get that question every time.
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to wear? Like there's a special gear.
Yeah.
Like, nah, just clothes. Like, don't be naked. Mm-hmm. That's really the goal. And don't wear like some blue jeans.
Don't wear what you would wear to Lowe's.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Just put something on, man. But yeah, and I think all of us have experienced that where we're in a new situation.
And the reality is, even if you did wear blue jeans, whatever, and it's really our brain and ourself, again, psyching ourselves out of like, making it more than it needs to be.
Yeah, making mountains out of molehills. It's really not that big of a deal. I've had people work out in jeans.
Yeah.
They forget their clothes. And they're like, I think I might go home. I'm like, nah.
Some of those stretchy jeans now are basically like...
I could work out in the jeans I own. But just do it.
And
who cares?
And ultimately, it's just going to be a little uncomfortable, no matter what. No matter what you do, no matter how much you prepare. And then eventually you get used to it.
Yep.
It becomes an environment you're comfortable in and you're doing it. So
I think it's important it might help to think about another time you've done something new, whatever that is. Like, oh, you got a new job. Well, you're going to be uncomfortable at a new job where you don't know everything, and you did it and you learned and you got better, hopefully.
Yeah.
And it's the same type of thing. So it's just being okay with being a novice. And I think that's kind of hard for people, especially maybe working out, because then there's like your image of yourself and your body and your body composition and all of that, like kind of tied to our self-worth. So that does make it a little bit more of an uncomfortable thing for people.
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's one scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
And then, too, I know I always feel more confident when you have a plan. So that is the other thing. Yeah, gym is, man, you walk in there. But again, when we boil it back down to the original thing, and that's why this isn't actually the issue, right?
Yeah.
People will say, I got to get in shape before I go to the gym.
It's an easy way to brush it off.
Then if you're in shape, why do you even need to go anymore? But then the real, it's just, it's scary to go, and then, okay, what do I do? Oh, I'm worried about these other people. And then, well, what do I do when I get there? And then how do I know if I'm doing it right? And that's where, you could find a gym like Coastal Strength and Fitness where all that's planned out for you.
Yeah, we the workouts planned. We're going to coach you through it. Most people there are super welcoming and have been in your spot. So basically all those barriers, all those reasons that are making you uncomfortable, knock them down.
Yeah.
Right? So then your only barrier is I just got to be there.
Yeah.
I just got to show up to this place. So that can be really beneficial for people.
Yeah, in most gyms, I mean, when I was at a global gym and stuff, like when you sign up, you get like 3 free personal training sessions. Like use them.
Yeah.
And like ask how to use the circuit, get them to show you the machines and something you could do on your own, and or go online and find a plan and watch some YouTube videos and and make it short and simple. Yeah. Like do like 3 exercises, basics. Like a push, a pull, and a leg exercise, so that you can go walk in there, feel confident about what you're doing, do it, leave, and be like, I did it, right?
Yeah, I checked the box on my plan today. And that's a good feeling. It seems simple, but
to get and you're getting comfortable with the environment, you're gaining confidence in what you're doing. Take smaller,
and you're not overwhelming yourself.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had a plan that was 10 exercises and you've never done anything before. You're gonna be like, holy shit, like I didn't know how to do 4 of those.
Yeah.
And that's not a good feeling to leave with.
Exactly. Dude, we could make a program called like Take Smaller Bites.
Ooh.
Hey, start smaller at the gym. Take smaller bites with your food. There it is. You don't need nothing else.
Just the basics.
There it is. But yeah, so we get little victories, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
And we picked on the common one of like, I need to get in shape before I go, because because you can't even make an argument.
Yeah, like there's no argument around it.
For it. Now, then there's some other ones, some other reasons people don't go to the gym, which, are like a little like...
They're more valid, but still...
you can push back, right? So like another common one is, I don't have time, right? I don't have finances. So...
And those are... Finances is harder to push back on. And you can do it. It's just more uncomfortable to do.
Right, because there's Planet Fitness is $10 a month.
Yeah.
So here's the thing with money and time. You have to sit down and look at your time and your money.
You have to budget both
right?
of them.
And it actually doesn't come down to time or money. It comes down to priority.
Yeah.
Because which this would be, I don't even know how this would be possible, unless you're dead broke and busy working all the time, which typically it's one or the other, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have time, you're like working all the time, hopefully getting compensated, so you have the money. But so it's like impossible almost to be both, right? And so ultimately, obviously there's extremes, but for most people, if you're listening to a podcast, you have like a phone, you're somewhat functioning in the world. So the real reality is like, don't tell yourself you don't have time or the finances. Say it's not a priority. And then see how that feels. If you don't like how that feels, make it a priority. And then, yes, from there is, levels, scaling to this.
Yeah.
What is it called? Spectrum. It's a spectrum. So let's look at finances, right? Okay. Yeah. It'd be nice to have a personal trainer, maybe it's $700 a month.
And that is a big expense.
But then you can go to Planet Fitness, $10 a month. And in Planet Fitness, they are nice. They got everything you could need.
Yeah.
To get a workout in. They're, catered to helping people feel comfortable. And it's $10 a month. So you need $10 of disposable income a month.
Which is now especially a single fast food
So the real
meal.
reality is, and dude, line up 500 people right now to tell me I don't have the finances to go to the gym.
Yeah.
500 people, and like, let's now take all your expenses and let's sit together.
Yeah.
And see if we can't find $10 that you can cut
somewhere
and trade
that you didn't maybe need to spend.
And here's the reality: like, most people wouldn't even get in line to have that conversation because they already know.
Yeah, they got it.
That they got it.
It's $10.
Yeah. And then from there, now here's the problem with Planet Fitness is like, then for some people, it's not enough of a loss, right? And this is how Planet Fitness works, because
it's the business model.
If everyone came, they would have to raise their prices because it'd be too busy, but they know what's the price that people will pay, and even if they're not using it, they'll still pay it. So the reality is most people have the $10, will even pay the $10, and they actually don't even care.
It doesn't matter enough.
It doesn't matter. They're fine with losing the $10. So some people then need to invest an amount more that actually would make it sting if they didn't use it.
Yeah, like the money is accountability.
Exactly, the money is
you got
accountability.
Skin in the game.
Yeah, go back to now. All of a sudden, say you have $1,000 disposable dollars a month, and you're spending $700 on a personal trainer. You're probably going to show up for those.
You're
going
to use it,
and you now and then you use it and you get the results. So the great thing is, and you're displaying it's a high priority to you, and you're getting it. Boom, bing, right? So then along that level, it's like finding how do I leverage, and prioritize, right? And for a lot of people, they need to spend more to help make it a priority. There's like an old adage, it's like, show me your bank statement or bank account to show me your priorities, right? Don't tell me your priorities, show me where you spend your money.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it goes.
That's valid.
Then you have...
we can talk about time.
Same thing. Okay, let's do a time. So let's
be real.
Let's line up 500 people.
Let's look at your phone usage and see how many Instagram or TikTok hours you have on your phone.
Yeah. And same thing, and leverage like, okay, yeah, maybe you can't get to the gym, maybe, for whatever reason, but you can go, yeah, you have 4 kids, right? But you can find time to step out of your door and go for a walk, right? Maybe you have a spouse and they're watching, or 2 of the kids are older, and then you take the others for a stroll in the stroller, right? And go for a walk. So it's about finding the right, activity or doing what you can do. And then, and also like a dose. A lot of times people think I need to do this full thing. So if I
need to do this every day for 2 hours.
Like, I got to go to the gym 5 days a week for 2.5 hours. And if I can't do that, I'm going to do nothing.
Yeah. And we've talked about this plenty of times. Put your minimums there. Mm-hmm. And what I would say, if you're talking about going to the gym, 2 days a week, 30 minutes a piece would be what I would set as a minimum for most people. And that's doable. Yep. And you could do your 3 strength training exercises, your full body, and get out of there.
And here's the thing. A lot of gyms, and this then comes down, it's like nuance and trade-offs, but then you have some gyms, $30, $40 a month, and they have daycare, right? Yeah. So you can drop your kids off, do your exercise.
And that is worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think, too, this is, a side shot from what we're talking about, but like people need to prioritize themselves, too, if we're talking priorities, because I think a lot of people get stuck taking care of other people. Yeah. And their mindset is, well, this person matters. And then they put themselves on the back burner. And then, they don't let themselves make the time for it. They think, oh, I need to be doing this for all of these other people. And then they don't give themselves 30 minutes a day, which is almost, it's a 1/48th of your day that you won't give yourself.
Yeah. And now a lot of times with like most places, like no one wants to be canceled, no workplaces. So you could, hey, can I come in an hour earlier and take an extra hour with my lunch break, and then you use it to go to the gym, right? And or you come early or come late, or like just freaking ask, ask your employer, like try to make something work. Now and again, you got to have a hard conversation. You got to then actually do it. You got to follow up on it.
Yep.
So ultimately, you have to prioritize it, right?
Yeah.
But again, it starts with. Do a time journal. Pull up your phone. Look at your phone usage. Do you have the time? Can you make the time? So we're talking, I don't have the time, but then we look at it and can we find 1 hour and maybe you have to drive to so we'll say 90 minutes a week. So yeah, you're doing the minimum. Would you like to do more? Maybe, but something is way better than nothing.
Yeah,
and
always.
A lot isn't that much better than a little. So the reality is like, can you find this time and like truly be honest and sincere and like look at things from that lens and be like, okay, there's the time. So then it just comes down to like, is it enough of a priority?
Yeah. And like change is uncomfortable, and doing something like this is uncomfortable. It kind of goes back to like the very beginning, but you gotta be uncomfortable for a little bit and making the time, and that might make you feel like, oh, I'm not taking care of my people, or I'm neglecting something. But the reality is, like, we still have to take care of ourselves, and we need to put that as a priority.
Yeah. And right there, right? And it may be uncomfortable just to sit down and go through your credit card bill, or go through your phone usage. But if you can't even do that, So think about it. At its bare minimum, we're asking you to, you're not doing nothing. You're sitting here on your phone listening to this podcast. You could press pause. Don't even press pause. You could pull up your bank statement. You don't even have to move. You don't even have to move where you're sitting right now. We have the ability to, you can pull up your bank statement. You can pull up your phone usage right now and look at those things and be like, can I find where can I move things to make this happen?
Yeah.
And you either do or you don't, right?
Yep.
Or I'm going to do this later, but you put it off because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just takes that upfront effort and then, accountability with yourself to do that. And it's not fun to see and admit that, dang, I waste a lot of time. Or I stay up really late at night, so I wake up late in the morning and I don't I don't have that time before work to go work out because I'm not setting a bedtime or anything like that.
And then the problem is people will spend all their time researching. So then it's like you may procrastinate on doing that. And then it's like, oh, I got to find a gym. So then you research gyms for 4 months. Then you're like, oh, I got to find a workout program. And you research it. And then next thing you know, 7-8 months have gone by.
And you haven't done anything.
And you haven't actually done anything.
Nothing.
Like freaking.
Just do anything.
Do something.
Whatever it is.
That's the biggest thing we see now with exercise and nutrition is people will just gather information.
Then just gather,
contemplate.
It gets worse as time goes on. As there's more information available, we get more paralyzed by looking things up.
So stop thinking you need to get in shape.
Yeah.
Find a budget. Find some time. Pick a gym. Walk through the door.
Show up. That's it. If you need help, find a means for someone to help you.
You can do all that in a day.
Yep.
And people will take years to thinking about it.
To get to working out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons you can come up with.
Yeah.
We've heard all of them. I have heard every single one of them.
And we see this and are so passionate about it because there's so many times like we'll finally see people that take the plunge, they come through, they go through a strategy session, they sign up, then they start working out at the gym and they love it. And what do they always say?
Oh, I wish I'd done this sooner.
Wish I'd done it sooner.
I wish I had found you guys 20 years ago. Things like that. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like all this time and it took you this long to pull the trigger. And I'm glad they did. But just imagine if we acted when we first had the idea.
Yeah.
And because there's a little bit of a drive there. There's a reason that we have in our minds like, maybe I should work out. Yeah. Maybe I do want to do this.
That's why I'm passionate about marketing. People think of marketing as like this bad, annoying thing.
Like slimy. But
if you're selling crap, if you're selling fake snake oil, but so many people are like, oh, I'm so glad I found the ad. Yeah. Oh, this thing changed my life, or this or that, and it's more like, man, like there's other people out there who aren't aware, and so we're doing a bad, like, man, we have this awesome thing, and we don't want to like gatekeep it from people.
Like we'll get everybody in here,
and it's like how can we make sure that people are the right fit know this exists,
and really the goal is like, how do I help the most people that I can?
Yep.
And that's our mission. So the marketing is a vessel for that.
Yeah. So there it is.
That's it. And we could probably go into 10 more reasons, but we don't need to. Just think whenever you put up a little, I don't have time to do that. Like,
and those are the biggest.
Those are the common ones.
Like, I don't have time. I don't have the finances, and I got to get in shape before I go.
The gym is for getting in shape. Period.
And it's the best place to get in shape. I'll be honest, like obviously we're biased, but environment's a huge factor. So it's this environment where it's, hey, this is all you can do. So it separates from your other stuff. That's a huge factor. It has equipment, right? So you don't need to like buy a bunch of stuff. You don't need to worry about what you need to get. You don't need to make sure it's, available and working. Like, you can find something for that skill level. That's the thing right there, right? Like, it's ironic. People, I got to get in shape before I go to the gym. When the reality is most of the stuff you would have to do on your own at home, you would actually need to get in shape for.
Yeah, it's a higher skill. Like body weight workouts as they're super accessible, right? They're like running.
Yeah.
Running's really accessible. Is a high skill activity in my opinion.
And it's a body weight exercise.
Yeah.
Like you're moving your body from point A to point B.
So with body weight stuff, things you do at home, they end up being higher impact.
Yeah. If you're overweight.
More stressful on your joints. Yeah. Like if you are overweight and your strength levels are low, you're doing some heavy work.
Yeah.
Like that's very high resistance, and it might be higher resistance than you should be doing. So you're working out of your capacity. Instead of working in a novice zone, you're trying to be an intermediate without the chops to back it up.
I mean, that's a whole nother podcast in and
that
of
is.
itself. I mean, that's something we're passionate about too. It's like a perfect example is like a push-up. If someone's overweight and deconditioned,
dude, a push-up's hard.
Then you should not be doing what happens is they'll finagle a way to do them, but it's wrong. But now you're training poor movement.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're just exposing yourself to potential higher risk. Right. And the reality is like a gym that then has a chest press machine or dumbbell presses where you can progress appropriately is actually, that's what's going to help you get in shape to then be able to do
a push-up
or 10 push-ups or dips or pull-ups or run from point A to point B. Right. Yeah. Running, you're carrying your body weight. So if you're like overweight and have extra body weight, it's a lot of strain. Right. So, it's like a huge mismatch of, like Will said, it's great because there's like the accessibility is you step out your front door.
Yeah.
But the reality is it's a sport and you should actually want to get in shape
before you run.
Yeah.
And I think the technique of running is often overlooked too, because it's easy to run terribly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when people run, like you're going for a mile, 3 miles, 5 miles. So that's a lot of like bad steps, so to speak. If, your form's not good or you're running weird, and then layer into that, you're deconditioned, you're maybe overweight. It's just a lot that can go wrong, compounding.
Whereas you can go to the gym, go through a nice progressive strength workout, make sure you're training all your movement patterns, building your joints, ligaments, and then hop on the treadmill and do a high incline walk. So where you're training now your cardiovascular fitness for run, to be able to run even better and get that in, but at an appropriate skill level and based off of the condition you're in, right? Because now you eliminate, say in the walking motion, a lot of the pounding and all that, to then now all of a sudden you lose 15 pounds, you strengthen your muscular system and everything else to where then you can go run a lot more effortlessly, and it's going to be a lot more appropriate activity.
Yes.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
The gym, avoiding the gym is holding you back. The gym is the best place to get in shape. Who knew?
Agreed.
The gym is the best place
to
get in shape. Not to, I need to get in shape before I go there. This isn't like the beach where it's like, well, I need to be flexing and impressing everyone
before I go to the beach.
Before I go to the gym at the gym. No, the gym is for you. Everyone there is working on them. No one is judging you. If they are, then they're in the minority. They're an a-hole.
Yeah, and that's a them problem.
And just accept the discomfort of a new environment.
And start small. Start small, bare minimum. Like we said, maybe 30 minutes twice a week. Pick 3 exercises to master. Maybe get someone to show you or a good YouTube tutorial from someone reputable, and just do it and don't overcomplicate it. And then you'll build from there, right? You get a little more confident, a little more comfortable, try a few more machines or whatever it is. And then you feel like it's not a big hurdle to get in there. It's just your normal.
There you have it. Episode number that wraps it up, 181.
Is it 181? I think it's 182. It's 182.
182.
We'll get it right one day.
Yeah. Hopefully it struck a nerve. Hopefully you got something out of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the goal. Maybe it just gives you a little push to look inside yourself and see if you're just putting up some walls.
All right. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.
as always, thanks for listening, guys. If you want to learn more, check us out at coastalfitnessva.com or garydeagle.com. We'll see you next time.